Everyone. Today I wanted to talk about boundaries. Are you struggling to maintain a healthy and fulfilling relationship with your partner? Do you find yourself constantly feeling drained, overwhelmed, or resentful? If so, it's time to take a closer look at the role of boundaries in your relationship. In this video, we're going to explore what boundaries are, why they matter, and how to set and maintain them in a way that promotes engagement, connection, and mutual respect. Personally, in my life, I have been notorious for not setting boundaries and not having clear boundaries. And so I've been doing lots of research about it, and I've been trying really hard for the past couple months to set boundaries, stick to them, enforce them, and just overall help myself feel better in my everyday life. So, what are boundaries? At its core, a boundary is simply a line that separates one thing from another. In the context of relationships, boundaries refer to physical, emotional, and psychological limits that we establish to protect ourselves and honor our needs and values. Engaging in a relationship without boundaries is kind of like driving a car without brakes. Eventually, you're going to crash. Okay, so why do boundaries even matter? Boundaries are essential for healthy relationships because they provide a framework for communication, trust, and mutual respect. When you have clear boundaries, you know what is and isn't acceptable behavior from your partner. This means you can communicate your needs and expectations more effectively and avoid misunderstandings and hurt feelings. Boundaries also help to build trust by creating a sense of reliability. So I feel like my communication skills are super good. I work on communication all the time. I'm just not super good at sitting with myself and figuring out what boundaries I want to set. Sometimes something happens and I realize that I have a boundary that I need to communicate, and I do that. I communicate the boundary, but I don't always set the boundaries to begin with. So, how can we set and maintain boundaries? It can be hard, okay? It's not always easy. So, it's gonna require ongoing effort and communication. So, what you want to do is you want to identify your needs and values. Before you can establish boundaries, you need to know what you want and need from the relationship. So, this is really where you want to sit and self reflect. You want to figure out what your needs are, what you want, and just kind of focus on yourself and think about yourself. And then the next step is to communicate clearly. Once you figure out what your boundaries are, you need to be able to tell your partner what they are. And then you can enforce your boundaries. It's not enough to just set them, you also need to make sure you're enforcing them. This means being consistent and following through on consequences when your boundaries are violated. It's also important to be willing to compromise and negotiate when necessary, but never at the expense of your own well being. And then sometimes we want to revisit and adjust our boundaries because boundaries are not always set in stone. Sometimes boundaries can change. They may need to be adjusted over time as your circumstances change. And you just want to make it a habit to check in with yourself and check in with your partner regularly. So I hope this helps you. It's kind of been helping me. I've been really trying to look inward and self reflect on how I can set more clear boundaries and then enforce them. Um, yeah, hopefully it helps you as well. I will see you in the next video. Bye.